I could do 3 murder mysteries this week, that would be great, and then we could see how many I get right. So far, we've done 1 and I've got that completely wrong. Hello my loves, and thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten. I deleted the intro clip by accident, so this is future Kirsten jumping back in time to give you the intro. And I've had an amazing reading week. As you've seen by the title, it is Cozy Murder Mystery Reading Week. I have loved it, so I hope you enjoy this video and I hope you're all doing really well. But let me talk about the books that I'm reading, because the next clip, yeah, I don't really explain it, I just kind of go on the assumption that we've had the intro. So let's just get straight into it. We were starting off the week, and the reason why it was becoming a Cozy Murder Mystery Week, not only because I love cozy murder mysteries, and through the whole of September that is all I was wanting to read, and I didn't have any on my September TBR. That was a complete oversight on my part, and I was like, I need it, I'm craving it. My reading really dropped off. Like, September was not a good reading month for me, and I knew that the way to pull it back was going to be having a Cozy Murder Mystery Week, which worked out perfectly because me and Christina are buddy reading The Last Level to Die by Richard Osman, which is the 4th book in the Thursday Murder Club series. I love this series. It was Christina that got me onto this series because of how much she loved the first 2 books, and then we buddy read the 3rd one together, and now we're buddy reading this one. However, that wasn't starting till Monday, and Monday is when I started this vlog, and so I started off with talking about how I'm really excited to start this book, that we were going to be reading 50 pages a day, and yeah, just how excited I was to get back to these characters. We've got 4 main characters, and in the first book we meet them in a retirement home. They're still in a retirement home, and every Thursday they get together to try and solve cold cases, and it's just so much fun. And then in the first book they actually have an actual murder to solve, and you just see the banter between them and then also the police department, just some of the audacity of things that they're able to do. It's so much fun, and yeah, I'm so excited to start this one. I've started it. It's fantastic. I have actually been tabbing, which the last update before I was realising that I deleted and I had to refilm the intro, I was debating whether I wanted to tab or not, and decided literally 10 minutes after that clip, sod it, I'm going to tab the book. So future Kirsten is going to talk you through the tabs, but not till a bit later in the video. Fantastic. This has been so much fun to read, and I cannot wait to continue. But I will let past future Kirsten talk about the first impressions of this book in the next update. But Sunday evening I had finished all my September picks. I really wanted to start a book, and I knew I wanted it to be a cozy murder mystery, and I had 2 cozy murder mystery picks for October's TBR for you to choose between. And at that point Sunday evening, a few votes were coming in. Agatha Christie was in the lead, but if there's anything to go by in previous ones, I was like, it could easily change, and I thought, you know what, why don't I just try and read both of them this week? However, Agatha Christie book is only a short book, so I decided to start with The Night in Question by Kathleen Glasgow and Liz Lawson, because it is the longer book, and I figured I can just put this one down. If Agatha Christie wins it in the next couple of days, because this is a quicker read anyway, I can just read this in between finishing this. And I read the first 40 pages. This was really good. I'm really enjoying this one. The first 40 pages are introducing us to our mystery. This is actually a 2nd book in the series, starting off with the Agathas. In the Agathas we meet our 2 main characters. Every chapter switch perspectives, so it actually really works. I really enjoyed that. We have Alice, who is very well off. Her family's very rich, however her parents are never around anyway, so it's not as good as it seems on the outside. She has actually become a little bit of a social outcast from her friends, and her best friend dies. But Alice is obsessed with Agatha Christie, and so she decides, I bet I can solve this better than the police, because the police have got the wrong person. And then she drags in Iris. Iris is our 2nd perspective, and Iris is a really smart kid. She's actually been asked to tutor Alice because Alice is not doing so well at school, so she needs the extra help. And instead, Alice manages to convince Iris to investigate a murder mystery instead. And you just see this friendship form between these 2 unlikely characters. It is so much fun. I really like seeing both their growth. Iris in the first book deals with a very difficult home situation, and I think it was handled really well. You do need to read the Agathas before going into this book, because this carries on from the ending of the Agathas. I think it's been like a month or 2, and they make a lot of comments back to that first case, some of the mistakes that they made, the things that Iris has had to deal with during that time, Alice developing as a person as well, and the way she's changed. So there's a lot of callbacks to that. And in the first 40 pages, you're getting the setup of the mystery of where it's taking place, which is at this castle, and what has happened, and how, again, the police think it's an open and shut case, and the girls are like, we don't think so, and so they're going to take it into their own hands. It was really good. Really enjoyed the start of it, and it got me so much in the reading mood, which is exactly what I needed after a lackluster September. However, I did also want to read The Moving Finger by Agatha Christie, and that does happen because the votes outshone the night in question by a landslide. After Sunday, I don't actually pick this back up until a bit later in the week, which you will find out, and instead I read The Moving Finger. It was a fun time. We're gonna leave it there. And this is just Agatha Christie, Cozy Murder Mystery, the queen of Cozy Murder Mystery, and this is the third book of hers that I've read, although I have also read a short story collection. So, 2 short story collections. I love Agatha Christie, love the books, they make me feel so cozy and happy inside, so yes. But there we are, that's the start of this weekly reading vlog. Those were the plans, was to read these 3 books, or at least attempt to. The 2 priorities is this, and then whatever book you had chosen for the month, which ended up being The Moving Finger. And we're also finishing it with, on Tuesday, going to the Sherlock Holmes Museum, because we were going to do everything murder mystery inspired. So, I'm going to leave it there. Past Kirsten is going to take over after a load of B-roll, and I will catch up with you, I was going to say in a few days time, which technically is true, but for the video it's probably going to be like 20 minutes. I'll see you then. I had a really nice day yesterday. It was really lovely. I spent the time with my partner in the morning, so we had lunch together and we found this like really nice pasta place in London, which I wasn't that sure on. Like when he first said about going there, I was like, okay, we'll give it a try, and it ended up being absolutely delicious. Really enjoyed that. And then I did go to the Sherlock Holmes Museum when we split ways. However, I didn't actually get inside the actual museum. I arrived at a point where there was this massive party of people all arriving, and they all bought tickets at the time that I was going to buy a ticket, and because it was such a big party and it's a rather small museum, they were like, we're gonna have to wait until they finish, which obviously it could be quick, it could also be a lot longer, and I didn't bother pre-ordering my ticket for the time frame because I wasn't sure when I would be going to the Sherlock Holmes Museum, depending on when me and my partner went separate ways. So I wasn't sure. So I didn't actually get inside the actual rooms because by that point I was like, I don't know if I want to wait around, because I did it all wrong, to be fair. Instead of going to buy my ticket straight away, I had a little look around the shop and had a nice little browse first, and then I was going to buy my ticket, and then I was going to go upstairs, because they're two separate things. You have to go inside the shop to buy your ticket first, and then the rooms and going upstairs stuff, like it's this whole separate thing. And so I thought, well, I might as well do the shop while I'm here. and it was a bit busy inside the shop, so I was like, oh, I'll just take my time, and then I'd left it too late. Do I really want to wait what could be an extra half hour? I was like, not really. So I decided to leave it. I would definitely go back another day. It was nice to have a little look around the shop anyway, and I decided instead to go to the Waterstones at Piccadilly, and to be fair, that's what I was really feeling. I was really feeling like having a little look around their crime section, which they're doing a bit of a rejig of their store, and the crime section is now massive. It is so big. I don't know what's going on, but a lot of the stores that I've been going to, like Waterstones wise, all seem to be having this restructure of their crime section, and it is huge. And I mean, I'm loving it, but yeah, it was absolutely massive. And I did pick up a book which is in preparation for December, Hercule Poirot's Christmas. I think you can get the idea of why I wanted this book, and that's going to be for future video in December. Obviously I didn't need to pick it up now because, you know, this is for December. However, my local Waterstones doesn't have this book, and I just thought, well, I've seen it, I'm here, I might as well just pick it up. So that's that. I do like the cover that they're doing for the Hercule Poirot, like they're all black with just the one image on, which I am really liking. So I'll definitely be collecting all of the Hercule Poirot books in this edition. Obviously not yet, I still want to finish my Miss Marple reads, but yeah, this was really pleased. I'm really glad that I went in there. Let's get to reading. So I haven't actually read any more of The Night in Question because it's been a few days since my October TBR went live, and this and Agatha Christie's The Moving Finger were the two books for you to choose between for the month, and Agatha Christie won hands down, like by a milestone. I've put down The Night in Question. I'm not going to read any more of this till I finish Agatha Christie, so I'm going to prioritise this one and then I'll get back to The Night in Question. Obviously I'm really enjoying it. I really cannot wait to read it. I like the fact that I've got my tabs going and everything. It's going to be a really good time when I get back to this one. I'm hoping I'll be able to fit it in this week. Whether I can or not, I don't know, but we'll see. And then of course The Moving Finger. So I forgot a bookmark yesterday, which to be fair, I should have just bought a bookmark from the Sherlock Holmes Museum. That would have been smart. Anyway, but I forgot a bookmark. So we're dog ear and pages, but never mind. I read the first couple of chapters yesterday on my train ride home. So I'm now up to chapter 3, page 30. We're just setting the scene. We're following our main characters. One of them, I feel like that's the name, Jerry. Jerry, he's had a accident. He's a pilot, and now he is recovering in this little village called Limstock with his sister Joanna. They're seen as a little bit as outsiders because they are from London, where it's nice and busy and stuff, and this is very, very quiet, very different scene. Loving the quiet village atmosphere. It's very nice. And they they got a letter, and it was clearly clippings from different things, like the letters were all cut out from different things to then make into this letter, and it has this really like horrible insinuation about the sister and brother, saying how they're not actually sister and brother. And as he's talking to his doctor, so the village doctor, the doctor then reveals the fact that actually several people have gotten these type of letters, and they all seem to be around salacious messages like this. They're not really sure what to do with it, to be honest. They're a little bit worried, but at the same time they're just letters, so nothing's really progressed from there. So that's where we're at to. We're just meeting everyone in the village, getting an idea for the characters and their story and everything. I also feel like, because it's an Agatha Christie book, I should be writing down the list of everybody, the names of every single person in this book, because they're all suspects. Everyone, because every single time I read an Agatha Christie book, I can never get it right, and it's always the person that I first dismissed. And so I feel like what I need to do is write down a list of all the different characters, who they are, and then go from there and cross it out from there, which I might do, to be fair. We've got my journal going and we're gonna do that, which I started, did I say that I'd already started doing that for The Night in Question? I have my notes page of what's going on, potential suspects and stuff. I think I'm gonna do the exact same for Agatha Christie, and to be fair, that's what this book is. It's been my suspects for the different Agatha Christie books that I've read, and I've had like timelines and stuff going on. So we're going to do that for this one, although I'm thinking to take this one to work. Today is going to be a very, very slow day at work, and this would be really nice to read on my lunch breaks. And it's not a long book, it's like 234 pages, so I feel like I could definitely get that done over a couple of lunch breaks, or if today ends up being extremely quiet, you never know, I might be able to get a good chunk of this done. See how it goes, but that's the plan for that. And yeah, I really do feel like I need to just start making lists of characters because I'm never going to get it right. As much as this video is not going to be spoiler filled for the different mysteries that I'm trying to solve, I will obviously be telling you whether I guessed it right or not. At the minute, I have a potential suspect in the night in question, although at the same time, is it misleading because it's so early on? I don't know. I guess we're going to see. We're going to read the moving finger first, then we'll go continue on with the night in question. But I've also started The Last Devil to Die, and I'm really enjoying this one. So as I've said, we're reading 50 pages a day. Christina and I were doing a buddy read. So I'm now up to chapter 19, page 101. And I'm really enjoying this. I had the intention to tab this book, but I haven't yet. There are definitely moments that I can tab because there are really funny moments. I love Joyce as a character. I love being back with these characters. So you definitely have to read this in order as a series. You need to start off with the Thursday Murder Club, which is where you first meet our 4 main characters. But there are also characters that you meet in each of the 3 books that all come back and have relevance in here, and I really like that. I really like how all the characters have been developed and it's all progressing, and we do have those callbacks to the previous 3 books. I really enjoy that, especially because the different mysteries all seem to follow on from one another, which is like else I really enjoy. So yeah, absolutely loving this. Joyce is probably my favourite main character because she's just so funny. She's such a positive, bubbly person. She's just hilarious. She is so funny, and so she definitely brings the humour to the book, which is needed. So definitely could have a tab for humour. Could also have a tab for just really sad moments because there is a character that suffers with Alzheimer's. It's so sad. It is so sad seeing our characters deal with that and deal with that character dealing with it. Like, there was a letter in this at the end of part 1 and it was so sad, it was so emotional, and both me and Christina were saying like how just sad that was. And I think Joyce is then the great balance to that, where you have those emotional moments in the book but you also have it paired with a bit of lightness, which is what you need. And to be fair, that's what life is really. I think it's done really well. And then of course we have the mystery going on. Now it's really interesting in this book, we as a reader kind of know more than the 4 main characters that are trying to solve things, because the way it's done, you have a little page at the start where you see the murder happen. Obviously you don't know who's committed the murder, but you see it happen. And then because you get so many different perspectives in this book, you also get a perspective of the reason why that kind of came about, why the person that died was in this situation. Our characters are only just starting to learn, so we know the situation that caused it, but we have no idea who is behind this murder. And both me and Christina were like, do you have any ideas? And we're like, no, we have no ideas. But it's interesting and I really like the way it's done. So I'm really looking forward to when our characters catch up to what we know and the things they're going to learn alongside it. They are very good at solving mysteries. I very much enjoy this, and I really enjoy the banter between the police department and our main characters, because at this point this is like the 4th mystery that they've got involved in, and the police are so much like, Chris and Donna are like, can you please just not and let us do our jobs? And Elizabeth, one of our 4 main characters, is like, well, I could, but I shan't. And it's so good. I really enjoy it. I enjoy the humour in here. It is my sort of dry humour and I love it so much. So yeah, this is really good. I'm really enjoying it. I will be reading another 50 pages before I go to work. Very excited for this. It's so good. But I do need to cook for work and read some of this, and then we'll go from there with the day. I've actually done enough on my days off that the mornings before work I shouldn't have to start editing anything until like Saturday or Sunday, which is really nice. So I've got the next couple mornings just chill out and read and see what we can get done. But yeah, I feel like this is good. This is such a good week. I'm having a grand old time with the murder mysteries and trying to solve things. It's going to be a great time. That's it for this update, I think. So I'm gonna go off, do the cooking and continue reading and go from there. Oh, I also do need to update another vlog because I've made some progress with War and Peace, which is going really well. So actually let me update that first, and I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to read my pages for War and Peace today, then read Last Devil to Die, and then we'll see what's happening, how much time I've got left before work as to what else I can get done, because I might be able to read a little bit more of the Agatha Christie book before I even get to work, which would be good because then I can do my list of suspects. You can't trust anyone in an Agatha Christie book. Like, it even makes me question, are the brother and sister actually brother and sister, even though they've had their own like thoughts, because we're obviously in the heads of them thinking about when they were kids and stuff. It still makes me go, but is it though? Because it's Agatha Christie. And every other time when I've been so determined that, oh, it's definitely not, it's always been a case. So it's got me questioning everything. With that out of the way, let's do some food. Theories. I am almost done with this book. I am up to chapter 10, page 173. So we're in the end step. We've got like 60 pages left to go, and I have theories. So yes, I was able to read quite a bit yesterday. Did I also stay up extra late finishing, well, getting up to where I got to? Yes I did. I have also been tabbing it. Only 2 tabs, very simple. One is clues, which is in this lighter green colour, and then one is suspects, things that I think is suspicious, and that's in this blue. Honestly, I could have done another tab for just quotes that I really like, because there's been a lot of them. I haven't done that, to be fair. I wish I did, because there's been a lot of good quotes in this book, but that would also mean going back through just to find all of those, and I'm right at the end. So I probably won't, but I definitely think in future with Agatha Christie books we're going to go with the 3 tabs, 1 for clues, 1 for suspects, and 1 for quotes I really like, because Agatha Christie has some amazing quotes. So definitely need to do that. But yes, we have theories, so let's talk about it. Obviously, this is spoiler free. Yes, there's other books I also need to talk about, namely The Last Devil to Die, but you know what? No, we need to focus on this, because this is where it's at. Okay, so the premise of this book is we have these really salacious letters that are being sent to people that have been typewritten, and then the actual message inside is made up of words that have been cut out from an old book. And so they're really horrible notes, they're gossiping, they're probably not even true most of the time. It's just someone being horrible and hateful and sending out these letters. Unfortunately, it leads to a death of one person within this village. Now, I have a suspect in mind, because this particular person has the means, the knowledge behind it, with some of the things that the detectives are finding to do with what's happened. It kind of adds up into the profile that was being made. There is a second suspect that I am wary of, but I feel like they must be a red herring, because it just doesn't, it's a bit too obvious otherwise, unless there's 2 things going on. One person that's doing the letters, and then the other person that's doing the killing. Could be that, in all honesty. Now, I can't really think of a motive to kill this particular person, but again, it could be to do with... there's a lot going on, basically. So I have 2 main suspects. One that I'm running with as my main person, but honestly, the more I think about it, the more I'm questioning it, because Agatha Christie... I don't solve these. This will be like the 3rd novel or 4th novel, 3rd novel, and so far I haven't solved one yet. She gets me questioning things. One I think is a prime suspect just because it fits the bill. It fits the bill really well, and there have been certain comments and stuff that makes me go, maybe it's them. But the second person that I shoved off as a red herring very early on, it could still be them. It would still fit for that person. So I'm not sure. The 2-person theory, I mean, it's a possibility, but that was only a recent thing when I was talking to my partner about it. That's more something that's gone, oh, maybe that would work, because it does seem to be, it could be a possibility. Potentially. We're gonna see. because I don't actually know, and we're at the part where Miss Marple has just been called to the village to come and solve what is going on. That's why I had to stop and update, because I needed to let you know that I have this theory, and we're gonna see whether I'm right or not, because I don't know. So we're gonna film reactions to this last bit, because I can imagine there's going to be some plot twists in here, and I will be so shocked if I actually get this right. But I do feel, I can't even say confident, I felt confident through a lot of this book. I had 4 main suspects that I thought from the very beginning. You know, when I was talking about I should write down a list of every single person, I decided to write down a list of all the people that I think it could possibly be. And then from the 4, I've narrowed it down to 2. But we're going to see. We're going to see what's going on. I've done a few notes and things, not as in-depth as I normally do, because the timeline and stuff, while it's important, obviously, it's also not been discussed in the most detail. So I've made little notes, but I don't have the whole timeline thing going on, and like little other notes that have been mentioned that I think could be linking up to it, which then holds more water for the person that I think it is. We're gonna see whether I'm right or not. So let's stop talking, get to reading this last little bit, and we'll see if I'm right. I don't know, I feel like I'm not gonna be. I feel like Agatha Christie's at it again. Also, all the theories are there. I don't know, I guess we're going to see. If it ends up being the red herring again, I'm just going to be like, for God's sake, I'm done. Because how many times am I going to guess, to think it's that person and then decide it's too obvious and so change my mind? Because I do think it's too obvious. Like, the minute I saw it all, I was like, that must be a red herring. We're going to see. Maybe the person that I think it is the red herring. We're going to find out. Let's do this. Every time. Every single time I get it wrong. That was a person that wasn't even on my suspect list. Theories, everything, all of that wasn't even on my suspect list. Didn't even cross my mind for a moment. Well, it was good. Agatha Christie, every single time. I can't solve these things. Like, what? It was very good though. I really enjoyed this. This was good fun. Really quick read. They're always quick, easy reads for me. And it was just so entertaining to try and put this puzzle together. And I got it completely wrong. Okay, right. Well, what's the time? It's almost 12 o'clock. I've got work in a couple of hours. So I'm going to chill, have some lunch, and we'll do a proper reading update. Probably tomorrow or something with Last Devil to Die, because I've made some more progress of that. Really enjoying it. Again, I have theories for that book, which I've told Christina. We're gonna see. I don't know if that one's gonna be right. So we're gonna see. Honestly, I can't believe it. I genuinely can't believe it. I am so like, every single time. I mean, this time, to be fair, at least it wasn't like Murder at the Vicarage, where I thought it was that person and then it wasn't that person. I thought it was the person, then I discredited it, and I thought, well, no, it can't possibly have been them, and then it ended up being them. So at least it wasn't like that. This was just a person I didn't think about at all. Every single time. Every single time. Like, even with The Body in the Library, I think I got that one completely wrong. Yeah, I did. It was a person that I got completely wrong. I think they were on my persons of interest list. I got that wrong as well. Every time. I mean, it was good. I enjoyed it. I like it. I think it's really fun when it's like a curveball, but then when they're explaining it all, because Miss Marple does at the end, she explains how she got there and the reasoning for it all and why it all makes sense. Like, it does make sense. And when you think about it like that and you put all the clues together, it does make sense. But also, I can't believe I missed it all, you know? But also it makes sense because it was very much in the shadows this time. And anyway, it was good. It was great. I really enjoyed this. Great fun. Thank you for choosing this one. It was really good. Really quick read. And now we're on Thursday. I don't think I'm going to be able to get The Night in Question finished this week, but I might take it to work to read on my lunch break, and we'll see how much progress I make, and we'll do that. I'd love to do 3. If I could do 3 murder mysteries this week, that would be great, and then we could see how many I get right. So far, we've done 1 and I've got that completely wrong. Last Devil to Die will definitely be finishing this week, so that'll be 2. just depends whether I can fit in the night in question, because that is a big one. You'll have to let me know if you've read, I know quite a few of you have read some Agatha Christie's. Do you often get it right? Am I just the only one that is not good at this? I've seen a lot of people do like videos where they're solving them, like Gavin and Emmy. They both do videos on this, and Gavin solved quite a few, and I think even Emmy solved a couple, and I have not solved any. And I don't know if that's just because I'm doing the Miss Marple books and maybe the Miss Marple books are a bit harder. I don't know, but yeah, this was a lot of fun, really good. I honestly thought at one point, I was like, yes, it's the person that I think it is. I am so pleased with this. And then Miss Marple comes in and it's like, damn. Right, okay, well, I suppose we should go be a little bit productive and get myself ready for work. Detective Kirsten is not, we're having a bad day. That's what we're amounting this to. We're having a bad day. And we can only go up from here. We can definitely solve The Last Devil to Dive, 100%. It's so unlikely, it's unreal, but you know, we're gonna try. We can try. Good morning. We have made good progress. As I said yesterday though, I need to update you with the Thursday Murder Club, because I have read more of this with just the intermission of the moving finger aside. So I'm now up to page 200, chapter 39, and I need to read... Oh, my necklace just broke or came undone. There we go. Honestly, shorter nails, I'm tempted to keep them because it's a lot easier to wear necklaces, and I have missed wearing them. And I would like to get in the habit of wearing more. So you never know, they might stay. Right, what was I saying? Yes, I got to page 200 and I did decide to annotate the pages in the end because it was just so good and I just feel like it was needed. We've only got 3 tabs going though. One is light blue, and these for the really sad emotional moment. I mean, I've already mentioned this, but it is just so emotional, and it's something that whenever Christina and I update, we've been doing that daily, it's been a case of just talking about how sad those moments are, because it is. But it is, as I've mentioned, really nicely paired with some funny moments, which I am now doing in this colour. You can't even see it really. It's a very, very faint lilac colour, and honestly there's a lot of those, but it's good fun, and I do think it pairs really well with those more emotional moments. I think it makes for a really well balanced book. Then we have purple, and this is for everything to do with the case. It could be clues, it could be everything to do with it, actually, everything to do with it. Now, do I have my suspicions? I have a theory which I put to Christina, and she reckons it's a possible theory. Now, there's 2 possible persons of interest that I have. Whether it's going to amount to it or not, I have no idea. We're gonna see and see what happens there, but I have, yeah, like I said, 2 possible persons of interest, which I'm not going to tell you because spoilers, but I'm really enjoying it. I'm really looking forward to seeing how it's going to go. I'm really tempted to read a bit more today because I would like to get this finished this week, so I might read ahead a little bit because I'm also trying to read War and Peace as well, and trying to read both every day is a little bit difficult, so I might read 100 pages today and then focus on a different book tomorrow, potentially, because I need to cook today basically. And on my cooking days, because I want to make macaroni cheese, which I might put in here, I don't know, it's 2 cooking bits, but you do seem to like the cooking bits and I like the cooking bits, so we'll see how it goes. If it's a natural flop, you're not going to see the b-roll for it but we'll see. And so that's going to take me a little bit longer to cook, so I won't be able to read as much, so I might just try and see how much of this I can get read today. Definitely the 50 pages, but I might try and read tomorrow's pages as well, just to get ahead a little bit, but we'll see, because like I say, I need to cook before work. I was going to get up a little bit earlier today and that didn't happen, so I've still got lots of other things to do, like I've got washing on and stuff. I mean, do you need to know this? No, but there we are. So I'm gonna see how much of this I get read today. I don't know if I'll be reading ahead, in all honesty. We'll see what happens there, but I'm really enjoying it, loving solving the mystery, and honestly I really love the fox detail on this, like it's so pretty. Right, okay, the other book. I did take The Night in Question to work for my lunch break, and this is so easy to read that I got a good chunk done on my lunch break. Now, in this book, we do also get different bits where it's broken up by, let me find a bit, things like this, where we have breaking news. So we have the news anchors talking. We also get text conversations between different people that we're not getting the perspectives of, so we understand what's going on. So you get little things like that, which make for a really easy read because you get those different formats. Now, I will say there was one chapter in here where I got a little bit, not annoyed or anything, but just thought, they could have like tightened this up a little bit, like when they were going through the formatting of it. This part here, we have Iris messaging someone called Raph, who you meet in the first book. The text messages, the way it's done is so inconsistent across the page that it was a little bit jarring. Some of it is just done in small italics. Then you have sections where it's like this, which, okay, yep, cool, I like that. And then we go back to little italics every so often, and I'm like, why? Why have we done that? I feel like those bits, the italic bits, were done in the moments, and they were, to be fair, in the moments where we had Iris reacting to something and then she would type out, which does make sense, but it was just one of those things that because I'm used to the way it's formatted in a certain way, to then have every so often it be different, as much as it did fit with what was happening. Like if you had Iris like reacting to it or going I typed or things like this, you would then have it in italics rather than the way it was laid out. It just felt a little bit inconsistent, but that's really nitpicky of me. The actual story I'm really enjoying. We have continued on with the tabs, with investigating things. Now, I don't have many suspects, to be quite honest, because we're mainly just collating evidence and going through it, and if anything's like the first book, we won't start getting closer to thinking about suspects until a bit later on, because there was over 100 people at this castle at the night when it all happened, and so they're having to whittle down from 100 to the possible suspects. There's a lot of that happening rather than having loads of like initial suspicious characters straight away. But I have been writing my notes and I have been getting together a timeline and theories of what's happened. Some of the things that one of the characters who's been accused of the murder by the police, technically it's not murder just yet, doesn't really add up, and the characters are like, are we sure this has happened? And we're like, well, she's clearly sticking to it, so it does mean that it's highly likely to be the truth. But why is it like this? Like, why doesn't it make sense? And I think it's actually to do with a little clue we got right at the start of the book, talking about one of the Agatha Christie novels, which was The Secret of Chimneys. Now, I've not read this one, but Alice does go on to say, anyone who's read any Christie at all knows that in Chimneys there's an important clue hidden inside a secret passage, and that's on page 15, so it's not really a spoiler or anything like that, but I think that is going to be so important in this book, and I reckon that's why things aren't adding up. So I'm very excited to see when they find that secret passage, and honestly I'll be disappointed if there isn't. Now, we know there is some, because that gets discovered really early on in the book, but I think there's another secret passage that they don't know about, which I think is going to be really good. And I do enjoy it when we have all the mentions of the different Agatha Christie books and stuff. It's good fun. It is such an easy read, so it's perfect for my lunch breaks at work because it really is so easy and so quick to read. And the pages are really nice and thick, which is great, so I can make like notes and stuff and nothing's going to bleed through the page. It's great. I'm enjoying it. It is so much fun. I still don't know whether I'm going to get this finished this week because we are on Friday and I've still got about 300 pages to go, just under. So we'll see if that actually gets finished. I don't know. I managed about 70 pages. Might not be able to finish it. We'll see. I might be able to squeeze it in. I have spoken for long enough. Those are all the updates from the books. Like I say, you might get some extra cooking B-roll if it goes well, or I might just give up and not bother doing it. Depends how tired I'm feeling, and if I want to watch something, I use my phone to film those bits, and you don't need to know this. Anyway, that's it. That's done for the update. I hope you're all doing well, and I will catch up with you soon. I finished 2 more mystery books, and we're going to start off with the one that I've been reading every day this week, and that is The Last Devil to Die. This was really good. Don't get me wrong, I failed on the mystery part. It was not the person that I thought had done it. To be honest, I didn't guess this person. I feel like I should have, but I did not guess that at all, and I really enjoyed the mystery side of this. I thought it was really well done, but I do feel like that wasn't the central theme of this book. Instead, the central theme was all the emotional aspect behind it instead. It was really well done. It definitely tackles a couple of more difficult subjects. One of the themes, which is Alzheimer's, was focused on a little bit in previous books, but this book definitely did more of a deeper focus on it, and also something that can be seen as a bit of a controversial topic. I think it was handled really, really well in this book. I think it was beautifully done. Now this book, it got me. I cried at a couple points because it was just so emotional. It was so well written, and few tears escaped me because I just thought it was done so beautifully, and it really, really got to me, and I loved it. I would love to be able to say to you, it's because I've been working so much and I'm tired from all the late shifts and stuff, and it's like, yes, but also I do cry at books, so you know. But I just think it was so well done. So yes, as much as I didn't solve the mystery in this, and there is the mystery in here, I do think a lot of it was exploring this central theme, and it was just done really, really well. I really, really liked it. We are going to be taking a bit of a break from the Thursday Murder Club series though. In the acknowledgements, Richard Osman says there will be more books, but we're going to take a short break. He's going to be working on something else, and I think the way it's left wraps up really nicely to a point where you can see that a little break was going to be coming because of the way it ended. And I don't think that's such a bad thing. I think because this book was so emotional, it works to leave it at a point where we will come back to it a few years down the line and revisit our characters, and I think you need that bit of space with what happened in this book. Really, so that's how I feel. I just think it was done really well. I'm really intrigued to see what Richard Osman comes out with next, so that'll be really interesting, but it's also really reassuring to know that we will come back to these characters. We're just gonna let them have a nice little breather for now after all the events that have gone down in this book, and I don't know, I really, really liked it. I thought it was beautifully done. This series has really become a kind of comforting series to me. So this was interesting because on my Discord there's someone that's reading Thursday Murder Club series, well, the first book, for the first time, and they mentioned how the mystery isn't actually as cozy as what they thought, but it's kind of works well with the setting. And I didn't really think about that, and I guess cozy murder mysteries, like, they're so different for everybody because the topics that you can tackle within a book make it so it's not so cozy. But for me, this is still a comforting series, and I still really love these characters, and I love those bits of humour that we get put in here, but I also really like the way some of the topics were tackled in here to have the more emotional, bittersweet response to it. I don't know, I really like it. I think it's lovely and would highly recommend, but always go and check in your trigger warnings. But this one, I just think the way it was handled, I really agreed with, and I think worked really well. So yeah, this was lovely. Really pleased I read it, and it was great fun buddy reading it with Christina, and just being able to talk about it as we were reading it was really, really good. So yes, very pleased with that one. And then I did also manage to finish The Night in Question, and this was just so much fun. I'm really pleased I had a YA murder mystery to pair with the adult mysteries that I was reading this week, because I needed that little bit of lightness and fun injected into it. Again, this book does tackle onto some darker topics. Like in the first book we have Iris dealing with her difficult home life. You also have Alice that grows up a little bit. In this one you see her character growth, and there is at the back of each book charity numbers for anyone that feels like they're in those sort of situations and stuff. But I just think the way it's tackled in here is done really well, but it also just feels a little bit lighter because of the nature of it being a YA book. And I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was really, really good, really fun. I actually guessed who did it. It was actually my first suspect, and then it kind of petered off and I was like, probably not, it's fine. And then it got closer and closer to the end and I was like, oh my god, I was right, it is that person. So that was brilliant. I really enjoyed this, and much like first book, we have other mysteries that are getting solved at the same time as the present mystery, and I find that really fun and interesting in the way it's done. I would love there to be a third book. I don't know if there is one or if they're in talks about it, I'm not sure, but this was so good. It does wrap up in a way that you could finish it here, but it also leaves it open for potential other mysteries, which I really enjoyed about this book. I just have so much fun with this. This is really good. I really enjoy the friendship between these two girls. It works. I really have a lot of fun with this series, so I do recommend, if you do enjoy a YA mystery and you haven't tried out the Agathas, I would really recommend, because I just think it's really good, it's really fun, and it doesn't really get talked about anywhere near as much as other YA murder mysteries, and it really does deserve it, especially if you like Agatha Christie, because I think you'd really get on with Alice, our main character in here, who is obsessed with Agatha Christie. I just think it works so well, and like I say, this was needed to break up some of the other reads. I did stay up late finishing this one because I just, it was so good, and sometimes you just get to that point in a book where you're just like, I don't want to put this down, and murder mysteries, I always find that with that last bit, you just really want to know what's going on and what's happening and stuff, so you don't want to put it down. Really good. Really enjoyed this reading week. It's been fantastic. Murder mysteries, I think I said it earlier this week, but there's something about them that really, I don't know, it takes reading to another level for me because I'm trying to solve it at the same time. I get really engrossed. I have such a fun time with it all, and it just, I don't know, I love it. I absolutely love it. So this week's reading has been absolutely amazing. I am quite surprised I actually managed to get all 3 of these done, especially considering I have been working, but I've also just loved it, and I've loved being able to like annotate every book. It's been so fun. I don't know, I've loved it. It's been a great reading week. You'll have to let me know, do you enjoy murder mysteries? For me, this has put me in such the reading mood that I feel ready to go on and tackle different books, read different things. But this was needed. This week was needed to have a week where I had so much enjoyment out of every book I was reading and being able to engage in it, and it was just, perfect reading week, absolutely perfect. So I've loved all 3 of these books, all for different things. Like Agatha Christie, perfect coziness, really trying to work out who did it, and then getting stumped, absolutely hilarious. The Night in Question, being able to see this friendship blossom as well as having the mystery going on, and also a past mystery that they end up getting tangled up in and solving as well, and that was really fun. And I did solve that one, so I did 1 out of the 3, so that's okay, not amazing but not bad. And then having The Last Devil to Die, which, as I've said, was just that bit more emotional. You still had that mystery, you still had the funny moments because some of our characters in this are just hilarious, but pairing that with a deeper conversation, and it was so beautifully done. Really pleased with all 3 of these books. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this weekly reading vlog as much as I've enjoyed making it, because this reading week has just been perfect. I've so enjoyed this week. It's been amazing. Anyway, to save myself from repeating the fact that I have loved reading murder mysteries so much this week, I'm going to end it here. So I think if you have made it this far, then let's put the magnifying glass emoji, because as much as Detective Kirsten wasn't at her detecting best, still had a fantastic time trying to solve them nonetheless. So yes, put a magnifying glass emoji if you've made it this far, and we will leave it there. So thank you so much. If you have enjoyed this video, please do give it that thumbs up, subscribe and comment. Those 3 things really help this channel grow. My social media links and anyone I've mentioned will be linked below, and I will of course catch you in the very next video.